no one was like, Smalling's a great center back, and he was definitely top 3 in that season.
Yeah.
But no one was saying that. So
everyone was saying he sucked. No, the fan base is cancerous, dude. I can't even get behind.
I mean, you can't even look at Twitter. I mean, look at Chelsea's fan base.
Well, everybody
they're already saying Frank Lampard out, which I mean, I knew from the beginning that Frank Lampard is not going to be a good manager. And they had the excuse that he didn't have a transfer window for the past year. That's why that Chelsea aren't performing the way they are. Well, now he just spent $220 million, and he still isn't performing.
It says a lot on Lampard's ego that he retired from football and then coached for 1 year and then went to Chelsea. Like, that says a lot about his ego, that he thinks he's ready to take Chelsea on. I mean, I wouldn't give the same opinion about Arteta because he did coach underneath Pep, who has been a coach for
But Arteta is also like...
he's fresh off the block, yeah.
He looks like he has a plan, like you were saying. Like, Ollie, against big teams, that's the only time he looks like he has a plan. Against, like, Brighton and other teams, every time Ollie puts his team out, you're just like, well, hope it works out. You know what I mean? Because like when the break, after the break, United looked phenomenal. They were beating the brakes off everyone, and then it kind of like fizzled out once he knew that he couldn't start the backups because it was complete garbage.
But I've never seen his system. I've never seen it. What
was Fergie's system though? Fergie didn't really have a system.
No. If you go back and you watch, he would play wall balls from the midfielders around, and then he would overlay. He would play the flanks a lot. But like, I mean, like he would play how he was set up in a 4-4-2, and he would have 2-2-1 on this side. No, it'd be 2. What would it be? 2, and then 1, right?
Yeah, but then
that's 5 right there, and they would just run the entire flank, and then this side would cover. It was an entire gelled system, and then he went to a 4-3-3 and stuck with it for years.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I don't think Fergie necessarily had a.
I promise. I'll show you. I'll show you some stuff. I went back and watched a lot of the old games, and it's the same link up play in every game. There's a plan to it. There's an actual play organized.
Well, either way, Arteta is definitely.
Arteta has that though.
Yeah,
there's an actual play.
He just doesn't have the players. But Arsenal getting Partey. Ooh.
It's a good.
By the way, Partey, he's a great player, but I probably wouldn't pick him up in fantasy.
How many goals does Cavani get?
If Cavani can score in the first 3 games that Martial has the red card and he's suspended for, Cavani can get 1 or 2 goals in those 3. I think he's like in the running for Golden Boot.
Fuck it, I say he gets 6.
All season?
No, first 3 games, then he gets 6. Yeah.
2 goals a game? I think there's the thing about Cavani that scares me is that the past 2 years he's been super injury prone. And he hasn't played a competitive match in 7 months.
Yeah, it's a really good buy. It's probably the best we could have done.
The best we could have done is got Sancho.
I'm being completely sarcastic. It's a horrible buy. Like, does not make sense.
Oh, sorry, I didn't pick up that sarcasm.
No, it was pretty deep-seated, but it's like he's the only free agent with any kind of reputation. So we're like, oh, well, he belongs here. Dude.
Notice how no one else wanted him. No one.
Yeah.
And then people are saying things like, well, Atletico wanted him and PSG wanted him, but his wages were too high. But it's like, okay. United were linked with him, I think, around June. I think the reason why they signed him now is so that they didn't have to pay those wages for those months leading up to now. I'm 100% positive on that.
That's looking on the bright side of it, really.
No.
Do you sincerely think that we were just waiting for that to end and then we got him?
No. I'm saying that United that the board and Ed Woodward were being so cheap that they were going to sign Cavani, right? As a 1 year, whatever he's on now, right?
Yeah.
They planned on signing him no matter what. But the links that happened in June, the reason why they didn't sign him then.
He was still on contract.
No. He wasn't on contract then. He was free agent then. The reason why they didn't sign him then is so that for June, July, and August, and September, that they didn't have to pay those wages for those 4 months.
And the contract goes until next June.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why they got him now, so they didn't have to pay whatever it is a month for his wages. Yeah. That's exactly why. Has nothing to do with that. Like he's like the player, like a good player that fits the system. It's literally because they didn't want to pay 4 months of his wages. I guarantee it.
Why did we pick up that Ahmad dude for $30 million and we wouldn't buy Sarr, who's proven in the Premier League for 40?
Because don't ask me, man. I will say the purchases that United have made for the youth system,
they look good.
Are unreal. Like that Charlie McNeil guy from City with 600 goals in youth level. Like that is absurd. And he posted like the Man United crest, and he was at the top of it. He's like, "Thank God, finally!" Like he hated that City, dude.
That's awesome.
But yeah, sorry, I keep getting off topic. But going back to Arteta, like, dude, he is such a good manager. And I think I told you the other day, since he's left City, Arsenal have lost less games than City has. So like City have lost more than Arsenal have since he's left. And I think that the whole thing about Pep was that he had people around him. Because like at Barcelona, he had, I can't remember who he had.
I don't think Arteta was like an oracle to Pep, where like Pep climbed the mountain to seek answers from Arteta. But I think he was like an in the ear kind of guy. Like Pep would like present an idea, and Arteta would kind of like foolproof it. You know what I mean? Like double check it. So
and because they were such good friends, I think if Pep had a terrible idea, Arteta would have been like, "That's awful." Where now I think Pep just has a bunch of yes men. Yeah, which is a giant problem.
Yeah, and it seems like Arteta is pretty much given liberty over everything that happens there. I think he orchestrated some of the transfers that came in.
At Arsenal? I'm pretty sure he said, "Get me Partey or I'm leaving." I'm almost positive he said that.
It's a good move. Well, I mean, it's him or Xhaka, and actually he and Xhaka wouldn't be a bad double pivot if they ever do go back to a 4-back.
See, I think if Arsenal are definitely getting back. Like under Arteta, there's clearly a plan. He clearly knows what he wants, and then re-signing Aubameyang, like that was really big for them. It's so funny the way that they celebrated Aubameyang re-signing. You know, like it's laughable.
They've got probably the most depth in youth. Also, Arsenal.
It's between Arsenal and United for sure. Chelsea have shipped all their guys out. Like I'm pretty sure. I know Ampadu is on loan, but he's never going to play for Chelsea.
That's so crazy. They have all these good players at these big clubs that don't play.
Yeah.
I do like how Liverpool and City keep a short staff. They're like short team. They don't have a lot of people out on loan. It's really just that top 20, whatever, how many? 24.
Yeah. See, the reason why Liverpool and City don't send their players out on loan is because they let them play in that Premier League 2 with like their reserve teams. Mm-hmm. So I think they've been like winning. Like the two of them have been winning it for the past few years because United team, Jimmy Garner and all them didn't play on that team. They played on the U18 team. They didn't play on the Premier League 2 team. And then like Mason Greenwood played on that. But then in the FA Youth Cup, that's when they bring up like Jimmy Garner and Mason Greenwood and all them. And then United beat Chelsea's youth team. I think Reece James played that game and Mason Greenwood got a hat trick and they won 3-0.
Premier League 2 is the reserves competition.
Yeah. And then they're talking about letting the second teams play in like League 1, League 2, and Championship. But because they do it in Spain and they do it in Germany. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, they can't ever get above the Championship. So say they actually won the Championship, they can't ever get promoted.
That probably wouldn't happen there because in Manchester, or whatever club would already be pulling those players up to be on the first team, I would imagine.
If they're playing well, yeah.
Yeah. That probably would never happen.
But
could, but yeah.
I think Arsenal, they definitely I wouldn't say that they're a team to they'll be in and around top 4 Europa League for sure this season.
They're going to be top 4.
But I don't think that they're going to get a title until they get a younger right wing, which I guess they kind of have in Reece Nelson, but I don't think he's the answer for them. I think they need to get by someone because Willian is too old already. And then Lacazette, I mean, you have Nketiah coming in, so that's great. Well, I forgot, they have Martinelli. He's just constantly injured, which could be a giant problem. But their midfield right now, Partey going into that midfield completely revolutionizes it. But if you have Partey and then Ceballos ahead and then I guess Xhaka, but Xhaka is, they need another center mid in that midfield. I don't think that's Xhaka is the only problem I have in that midfield.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of depth there.
No, because they just got rid of Guendouzi.
I think the top four is going to be a weird one. I think there's going to be
Everton get top four.
Yeah, I think there's going to be 3 teams in the top 4 who were not in the top 4 last year. And here's I think it's going to be hard for Man City and Liverpool to clean up their shit already. And Liverpool's going to be staggered all year. They're going to go through waves and they'll end up outside the top 4. Man City's going to be bad until the winter transfer window, and then they'll have a decent second half of the season.
Yeah.
But I don't think either of them are getting top 4 this year.
So Liverpool and City?
Yeah.
I think City will get top 4, but I don't think Liverpool will. With how they're going right now.
City's not doing too hot either. 5-2 to Leicester and then 1-1 to Leeds.
Yeah, I know, but they've got so really much depth.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Where Liverpool, like, they brought in Jota and they have Minamino and they have Shaqiri, who apparently is dead now, but City's depth is way more quality than Liverpool's, in my opinion. Because I mean, Minamino has come on and he hasn't. Yeah, and I don't think he scored. And then Jota is a good backup for sure, but as you saw against Villa, like he got bullied by Matty Cash.
Well, Matty Cash, and I said this during he's top 3 right backs in the league. Has to be. He's a complete wing back, meaning he plays offense and defense the whole game. And Villa have a system this year that looks really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Ollie Watkins, the addition. I mean,
see,
I know you.
What happened at Villa? What's happened at Villa is what happens when you back the manager.
Well, it's one thing to back a manager. It's another thing for the manager to buy the right player for his system. Yeah. Ollie Watkins was the right player for the system. Matty Cash was the right player for the system.
Exactly. Douglas Costa, or not Douglas Costa. Wait, Douglas Luiz. Last year, everyone was saying that was a waste of however many million it was. He looks phenomenal now. Like that. But again,
Barkley, fantastic. He looks fantastic.
Yeah, I think he's a free agent in our thing. If you
pick
in
Barkley
our league,
up. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah, if you want a fantasy team and you need a midfielder because if you do that other thing where you pay for the player, Barkley's probably pretty cheap. He's a great midfielder to pick.
I told you him would get phased out too. I was a little bit wrong about how it happened, and it might still happen the way I said it because Traore hasn't been integrated in yet. I don't think Trezeguet is going to lose a consistent spot.
Dude, that front four,
the front,
their midfield up for Villa is like a solid top 8 team. And Douglas Luiz, McGinn, Barkley, Watkins. You put Traore on the right and then Grealish on the left. That front line, that is a solid front line.
And with McGinn and Barkley behind them.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. And the back line doesn't look bad either, though. I mean, you got Mings and Konsa have been scoring, but they've also been holding clean sheets and not losing games, and then Cash and targets.
But again, how
Martinez and goal also.
How much does those bigger teams not having a full? I don't really know. I guess you could say the excuse for Liverpool this week was that they have 2 of their major players get COVID, and I would imagine the way Liverpool played and how tired they looked, I would imagine that some other of them have it. They just aren't showing any symptoms. Because if more players come out for Liverpool in the next 2 weeks that they have coronavirus, they definitely played against Villa with it. In my opinion.
That's the season then. You understand that?
What?
Like if I'm assuming like if 6